Hi YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping into some more fantasy football content. I have my three favorite wide receiver sleepers for this fantasy football season. If you didn't see the running back video, we just published it. Guys, go check it out. I'll link it up here if you do want to check that out. We gave you guys three running back sleepers. For these wide receivers, they're going to get more and more slept on as we go through the video. The first player is going to be sitting right around that 75 ADP range. Then we get into the 120 range. And then my last sleeper that we'll get to at the end of the video, in most cases, isn't even getting drafted. And I think there's some crazy opportunity with this guy, so stay tuned for that. Before we do jump into them, ask you guys to hit that subscribe button, like the video. Guys, we're putting in a lot of effort into these videos, waking up early each morning to grind and get 1, 2, 3 videos out. If you guys would hit that subscribe button and like the video, it would be much appreciated. And we're also going to have a poll in the description for these three guys. I want you guys to tell me which one is your favorite sleeper on this list. Then obviously use the comments down below and give me your favorite sleeper for the wide receivers. If you guys think I missed any or disagree with me, anything like that, I'm here for it. I'll check it out in the comments. Without further ado, let's jump into number one on this list. At number one, we got Gabriel Davis. Right now, he's sitting at that 69 to 75 ADP range. He's a wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills here, third-year guy, I believe. Last year, he didn't play too much until the end of the season, once they realized what this kid could do and that the Emmanuel Sanders experiment wasn't exactly working out, I guess. But in his last 6 games of last season, he averaged 19.8 fantasy points per game in those last 6 games. Crazy sort of boom out of nowhere here. And I do think Gabriel Davis is here for the long haul. Now you might be saying they just brought in Jamison Crowder, right? Like that's going to be a new wide receiver to add some competition to this. Well, I have a couple counters to that. First off, losing Sanders, losing Cole Beasley here, that opens up like 200 targets that they won't have this season that they had last season going to those two players. And second, Jamison Crowder, you know, I think him coming in almost helps Gabriel Davis here. Jamison Crowder now solidifies that that's going to be their slot receiver, meaning Gabriel Davis, the bigger body, is going to move to the outside and play opposite of Stephon Diggs, which I think is going to be a massive thing for him all year long. And again, once he became a full-time player last year, in his last 6 games, the dude went off, almost 20 fantasy points per game. So I think there's some crazy opportunity here. When you think about how high powered this offense is, I don't even want to hear the, oh, well, there's Jamison Crowder. But no, Josh Allen is good enough to produce for definitely 2 wide receivers and possibly even 3 fantasy wide receivers. So Gabriel Davis is number 1. I'm making sure that he's on my team this season. I think he's going to have an absolutely breakout year. I know the last half of the season last year could have been his breakout time, but I think he's going to absolutely break out this season. Gabriel Davis, number 1 on this list. Next up, we have a player that I do really like here, and you know, the knock on him is that he has 2 other guys ahead of him that are the clear-cut 1 and 2. We're talking about Tyler Boyd. ADP right now around the 120 mark. You can get him super late in your drafts, but he's been a productive receiver, even as a third option. In fact, last season, he was the 3rd most yards when it comes to a receiver from the slot position. So Cooper Kupp, Cole Beasley, the only 2 ahead of him. Tyler Boyd has solidified himself as that slot role. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, they can be on the outside if you want. Tyler Boyd's comfortable being that number 3. And just like we talked about with Josh Allen with the Bills, there's going to be enough to go around here. Tyler Boyd's going to be able to eat. Joe Burrow is good enough to produce for all these guys. He's shown it already with these 3 guys on his team. And you know what? I hate to wish injury or anything like that upon anyone, but imagine Tyler Boyd sitting all season long at, you know, that 3rd spot on their depth chart when it comes to wide receiver, being their slot option. All of a sudden, if one of those guys gets banged up, Tyler Boyd is the obvious fill-in. You know, the Bengals don't even have to worry about, oh, who is it going to be? No, Tyler Boyd will be that guy. You know, in the last 4 seasons, 1,000+ yards, 1,000+ yards, 800+ yards, 800+ yards. Even when he's a 3rd option or a 2nd option, anything like that, he gets his. Tyler Boyd is very much slept on this season. The only negative here, or the only knock you could say, is that he has 2 guys ahead of him. Like, it's nothing that Tyler Boyd's doing himself to write him off or to push him down in these ADPs and making him get drafted late. No, it's just because he has 2 guys that are the clear-cut number 1 and 2. But you know, you never know what happens to those number 1 and 2s. And even if nothing happens to them, I think this Bengals is going to be a high-powered enough offense to provide and produce at a number 3 on the depth chart in terms of wide receivers. I do like Tyler Boyd a lot, though, guys. That's number 2 on the list. Next up, this is, I guess you could say this is the crazy one, KJ Osborn. A lot of people are like, what? Who? KJ Osborn, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. ADP is 180 plus, more often than not getting undrafted. Now, I will say this, his floor is way down there. If I could take the camera and tilt it, the floor is way down there. Like, this guy could be a nothing. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I found a diamond in the rough, but I may have found a diamond in the rough when I'm being honest here. KJ Osborn, when he got the opportunity last year after Adam Thielen got injured, he started to average 14 fantasy points per game for the rest of the season. And that was week 13. Like, he was able to do it week in and week out. Again, low floor. He's probably going to be the wide receiver 3 or 4 for this team. But if there's any injuries ahead of him, all of a sudden you're looking at a guy that could be their clear-cut wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 the way he plays. Again, Adam Thielen goes down last year and he sees 14 fantasy points per week. So I do think that there's a lot of opportunity there and there's a lot of upside. It could turn into a bust, but hey, that's why you're drafting him in the last round of your league. This is the ultimate flyer, and they do have a new head coach, Kevin O'Connell, who does love the pass game, so we could see a little bit of a change here in KJ Osborn sort of sparking and becoming absolutely, you know, fantasy, I would say probably a flex play. But the fact that you're getting him at the last round of your draft, that is crazy to me. That is a guy that's absolutely being slept on. If you could get double-digit points per week out of a guy that you drafted last, hey, who wouldn't take that? So KJ Osborn is the last name on that list. I know that's a crazy one, guys, but let me know what you guys think of these 3 names. We got, again, Gabriel Davis, Tyler Boyd, and KJ Osborn as our 3 wide receiver sleepers, and these are true sleepers, guys. KJ Osborn for sure, Tyler Boyd for sure, Gabriel Davis, he is in that late round situation, but these guys are sleepers. We're not just giving you the chalk plays or anything like that. So guys, let me know what you guys do think of these 3. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.